essentially we first thought something could be wrong that very first night. She was born in the late afternoon, so I was just breastfeeding, and then all of a sudden while breastfeeding, so she was lying flat on me, she just lifted up pretty much her whole torso off me. It was just this really sharp jerking movement that she did. My first instinct, like, I just immediately thought that it was a seizure. And then suddenly it completely changed.
She had a very different episode where it kind of ramped up a bit more. Her responsiveness dropped after one of the episodes, and like it just didn't seem right to me. So I was like, okay, we're going to the hospital. Like, I think just get her checked out.
We rushed off to the hospital, drove as fast as we could, and Lachie was asking me, is she breathing? Is Claire breathing? And then I just looked at her and I couldn't answer because I actually didn't know if she was breathing. And the fact that I didn't know if she was breathing, it was because she wasn't breathing.
Essentially was taken straight in and assessed, and her oxygen levels were very low. And then she declared herself a bit more by having a full-blown kind of jerking seizure in the hospital. So the main thing that they were keen to do, but just excluding infection first, was getting an MRI scan to see if there was anything structurally in the brain. The doctors got us together and had a bit of a family meeting to go through the results, which were completely, unexpected.
Baby Claire has a condition called hemi-megalencephaly. So this is a rare condition where one side of the brain has grown and developed in an abnormal manner, and the arrangement of all of the cells in there is abnormal and unusual. And it's that lack of coordination and arrangement of the cells and the way they fire that predisposes it to causing epilepsy. And that's what we've seen with baby Claire, is that she's had constant seizures from that affected part of the brain.
It was a really shocking answer. I think we kept asking ourselves like, oh, why has this happened? Why us?
So the treatment options are initially with anti-seizure medications. She went through around 10 different anti-seizure medications on the ward, and they did not reduce her seizures significantly. So the next treatment was to do epilepsy surgery, which is an attempt to remove or disconnect the part of the brain that has the dysplasia.
Essentially, at that point, we just had to stay in hospital until she could have the surgery when she was 3 months old. Yeah.
The goals of the operation was to reduce her seizures, and we've been happy that her seizures have reduced. The ultimate goal is to have her not having seizures. I certainly think that we have got some good steps to take to get there. It's just doing it in the right sequence and the right timing for Claire.
After that first operation, it felt like, it was just a new chapter. She hasn't had any of the big jerky seizures that she's had.
So at the RCH, we are very fortunate to have advanced imaging programs, advanced epilepsy surgeons and epilepsy surgery theatre. And I think that's what makes the difference for patients like Claire. And we do know for epilepsy surgeries that the sooner that they can be performed, the better the long-term impact on development and cognitive outcomes.
So incredibly lucky to have Claire. Also incredibly lucky to live in Australia, in Melbourne, be able to attend RCH, which has the capability to care for a child like Claire. Like, I'm really lucky.
The aim of the second surgery would be to have Claire seizure-free. I remember when the neurologist said that, I just looked at Lachie and I was like, how's that possible? Like, this baby has seizures 30 times a day. How is that possible? But, I think that's the beacon of hope that we'll keep hoping for. Yeah.